A female ranger with black hair speaks.
Hi, I'm Ranger Melea, wishing you all a happy Women's History Month from Gateway Arch National Park. During the month of March, as well as the rest of the year, we encourage you to make special effort to spend time exploring our museum or looking at our website to learn more about the women who dared to make a lasting impact in history. Did you know the Old Courthouse is also connected to Gateway Arch National Park?
Photos of Old Courthouse.
The Old Courthouse, once an active courthouse in St. Louis, remembers the good and the bad. The stories of people seeking freedom and agency within the American legal system.
Portrait of the
One
Scotts.
individual, Harriet Scott, is remembered in the Old Courthouse for her strength and determination throughout her path to freedom alongside her husband, Dred, and their two children, Eliza and Lizzie. Enslaved in Virginia around 1815, Harriet Robinson, now known as Harriet Scott, would later become one of the leading figures in the years leading up to the Civil War. The Scotts were forced to move to both free and slave territories with their enslaver, John Emerson. After their eventual return to St. Louis, both Dred and Harriet individually sued for their freedom in a type of case now referred to as freedom suits. Harriet may have learned of this option from members of her church while Dred was being hired out in Texas.
Historic courthouse photo.
They initially sued in the Old Courthouse in St. Louis, Missouri. Because of the similarity of their situations, Harriet's name was eventually dropped from the petition for freedom. Today, Dred's name is most often recognized in the infamous Dred Scott versus Sanford case. However, it is important to remember that the freedom of the whole Scott family was at stake during the 11-year court fight.
Statue of Scott.
Harriet Robinson Scott was a wife, a mother, and a determined woman seeking justice and freedom through the American court system. Although that system failed her and thousands of other enslaved individuals, Harriet, Dred, and their two daughters finally attained their freedom on May 26, 1857. Harriet's courageous actions will be remembered alongside Dred Scott and the numerous other freedom suits filed in the Old Courthouse in St. Louis. When the Old Courthouse reopens, visitors will be able to explore the Scott family story and their legacy in the new Dred and Harriet Scott Gallery. What women in history come to your mind when you think about courage and resistance? Share your thoughts with the park ranger during your visit to Gateway Arch National Park.